Welcome back. Trust and trust law. With every activities that exists that anyone engages in, there are different types of laws that governs them. Those laws are accompanied by different rights. When it comes to trust, the first thing on its face with that word itself is the word trust. Meaning, in order for you to engage in any type of interaction with anyone internally, before extending that internal organization outward into other activities, you must first trust them. If anyone to ask you what a trust is, it's simply based on your full faith in other people's intent, their will, and more important than their intent and their will, their capacity to enforce the intent that you have that aligns with theirs. That is what trust simply means. Now, also on the matter of trust, there are basic things that must be comprehended. The roles. We all know settlor, grantor, trust, trustee, beneficiary, trust protector, right? But what do those roles mean functionally? What do those roles mean beyond buzzwords? Many people will hear the word settlor, aka grantor. Many people will hear the word beneficiary. Many people will hear the word trustee, or trust protector, aka the benefactor. The benefactor is just someone doing something for the benefit of someone. As it relates to trust, it is really the trust protector. But when it comes to the organization of government, which are governed by trust law, when you comprehend this thing called trust law, you are automatically studying how governments work. And if you want to comprehend trust law, look into how governments work. As I've said before, and I will keep saying, to those who contend that the Constitution or preceding documents that's attached to that Constitution of the United States, or for quote unquote the United States, to those who contend that that's not the way to go, and you say you want to go into trust law, you are still lying to yourself. But nonetheless, as it relates to the functional aspects, so you really comprehend what you're doing, you're saying you want to protect your asset, you saying you want to enforce something against someone else. Well, here it is. Within trust law, you would have something called a board of trustee. The board of trustee, when it comes to government, is synonymous with the legislative department, the people who come together and make the law, the people who put their heads together and make a decision as to how something works. On your state or federal level, they call that the legislature. The board of trustee makes a decision of how the law of the trust works. Remember, we're speaking of trust law here. The beneficiary is synonymous with what we will call the people, meaning the board of trustee, aka the legislature, is making a law to govern the best interest of the people to which this trust is made for. The president will be synonymous with the grantor, like the governor of your state or the president of the United States. Now, that grantor, just because you're the grantor doesn't mean you hold the ultimate power. You share and distribute your power based on the separation of power principles. Just as it exists in the Constitution, it must be implemented into your trust also. Because what if something happens to your grantor and they are in a capacity that disallows them to make certain decisions, or they are incapacitated physically, mentally, or worst case scenario, they pass away? If your grantor has all the power to say the yay or nay and does not distribute it and separate that power and put its egg in different basket by virtue of that trust itself, then you're not organizing your trust properly. Merely having a trust is not the end all be all. The board of trustees is the legislature, the people is synonymous with the beneficiary, the president is synonymous with the grantor. What about the Judiciary Department? Simple. The trust protector. The contractors, the third-party interlopers, like the relationship that IRS has with the United States, like the relationship the Federal Reserve has with the United States, like the relationship the United Nations have with the United States. Those are called third-party trustees. Those are called authorized representatives on behalf of the trust. Look at your local municipalities. They tell you, for instance, at New York, they spell it out to you word for word. When you go on their website, this is just New York, for instance. You can go to any other town, any other state, any other village, any other borough. Look at their organization. They always give it to you. Look at how they describe it. The town board is a legislative body of Irondequoit town government. Literally, they tell you, the town board, like you would have your board of trustee. The town is a trust. The board of trustee is the town board, which they give you the list of them right here. And they let you know that the town board is a legislative body. And then they come together and make this decision. All right, that stop sign that's on that street, should we remove it? Should we add a speed bump over here? Should we contract more with the people who plow the snow? How are we going to manage our budget? What municipal codes are we going to amend or add? That's the legislative body, the town board. In your case, the board of trustee. They are your legislative department, so on and so forth. That is just one example. I will be doing a miscarriage of justice, and when it comes to self-sufficiency, to show you the functional aspect of the other details. You've been given the head start. Now do the detailed research yourself for the rest. Although the majority of the explanation have already been given to you in simplicity. Board of Trustee, so legislation. The grantor or the settler is the president. The beneficiary is one of the people. And keep in mind, trusts are creatures of law. That term, creatures of law, that's a specific verbiage of itself when it comes to equity and at law. And creatures of law takes on the status of its creator. And creatures of law takes on the status of its creator. Creatures of law, in this case, trust law, takes on its status of its creator. When it comes to a trust, who is its creator? Ask yourself that question. Whatever the status of its creator is, it's the status of that trust itself, and the types of laws that applies to it, and the types of treaties that applies to it. So when you keep in mind who we the people are, aka the beneficiary, the types of law that applies to them will tie directly into who those people are that are the beneficiary within your trust. I'm not here to delineate to you how you're going to run your trust, but put those principles in consideration. In addition to the safe harbor clause, in addition to the control test, in addition to the court test that we've went over in the past, and all the other elements and tests when it comes to trusts and how to run it that we will be going over in the future. Those are the basic 101 of trust. Many people have read thousands of pages of PDFs and are still confused about these basic things that we've shortly went over. Simplicity is the key and the power of how to enforce things. And when you begin to put the links together of how it's actually used in daily life, you will clearly see it, how you need to use it. Those are the one-on-ones of trust. Are there more? Yes. I highly implore anyone watching this to go over the video and listen slowly and carefully. And most importantly, do some self-reflection on what you listen to. There's a lot more to it, but those are the basics. Take care and best of luck. To those who have yet joined my Patreon, I am inviting you, come on over. On the Patreon page, we speak about things that are not shown here on YouTube. We speak about the private side of the court, outside of just the finance. We speak about how to prove actual fraud and lift the corporate veil. In addition to some study tools, we speak about how to actually invoke private right of action there in the Bill of Rights. We speak about financial things with letters of credit, property rights, preservation of property rights. We speak about how to put your vehicle in a trust and how to not qualify for tax, how to properly fill out the GSA, public laws of the state and common law, how to establish probable cause. There are different types of damages. There's damage and there's damages. Those are two different things. The type of relief that you seek to be granted is a huge part of the type of damages. We go over that. We speak about the details of the bills of right, which is what you would really be invoking whenever you bring in any claim, whether on a financial level, private level, whatever it is. We speak about how to remain private when it comes to the EOSCAR algorithm and how to establish certain types of profile. We speak about how to go after bonds. We speak of how to get federal judges and other federal employees oath of office and bond. We speak about the different types of discharge and the specific ones, and we go over the details and more.